Hey guys, and welcome back to Threads, where I have a black mark on my arm that I got somewhere. I don't know where the fuck it came from, but I'm also too tired to really be worried about it, so there's fucking that, I guess. But welcome back to Threads, episode 33. I actually had to look up the count because I had completely forgotten how many episodes I recorded, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. I digress, but let's just dive right into it without further ado. Today we are on X Paranormal. Thread title is The Daycare Saga, posted on Friday, 30th of January 2015 at 9 o'clock a.m. Thread number is 15737. 396. Thread reads as follows. Didn't see any daycare discussion on here, and I haven't been on X lately, so I don't know if there's been any already. Gonna copy paste the OP of a different thread here, as it's better written than anything I could toss together. Have you guys heard of this? Basically, someone on Reddit r/Salt Lake City posted a picture of a building they found creepy. Pic related, it's the building because it was supposed to be an active daycare, but no one was ever seen coming or going. People dug into it, found a website which quickly ended up getting taken down and the who is information wiped. Then someone walked by during regular hours and found no one was there but an elderly looking Mexican lady. Someone else kept looking around online and found shipments for 4,000 kilograms, 8,818 pounds of plastic jewelry being delivered from China to the following businesses in several states: Fun Times, Kidz Kare, Funcrest Bait Shop, Fun with Phonics, Funland Jumpers, Fundamental Financial Group. One of the above locations, I believe the bait shop, if I remember correctly, has the same address as the home of a registered sex offender. The main post in r/conspiracy was removed, and the thread in r/Salt Lake City was nuked for mods for witch hunting. Here's a possible explanation some people have come up with. Front for a drug smuggling operation, CIA FBI safe house that Reddit just ruined. Front for an arms smuggling operation. To expand on the arms smuggling, someone checked the bill of ladings for two different heavy shipment delivered to the above businesses and found there were two types of cartons in each crate. One carton had a similar weight to 250 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, while the other crate was a slight round up to the weight of an AK. The final and most likely scenario is that it was a bunch of made up shit / misinformation / coincidences that people jumped to conclusions over. I would say the ammunition shit's kind of like whatever, dude. Like, okay, fine. Like, those numbers are kind of like, I don't even know where the fuck you get the weights from, but that's just 4chan for you, I guess. Since this OP was originally written, the Reddit admins have reportedly ordered all future discussion to be removed. A request the r/conspiracy mods are complying with to avoid their sub getting banned. Discussion of that's available in a mod post on their sub if you want to go find it. Just curious as to whether people think that r/conspiracy finally found something legit, or whether it's all bullshit and misinformation. At the very least, it's an interesting read. Two possibilities. This is just a random business that doesn't really appreciate the negative attention from a bunch of tinfoil hats. The Illuminati used this as a front for their evil mind control raids. Ooh, spooky. Or maybe even a third. This is a place of interest to a law enforcement agency, and its online presence would jeopardize the investigations. Well, this is X, so mind ray speculation go. The current theory is it's either the front for some massive Utah-based pedo ring, or it's a CIA human trafficking safe house. No one has mentioned aliens yet. I feel a thread coming on. Of course aliens, dude. It's like, there's no fucking aliens at a fucking daycare, dude. Come the fuck on, dude. This isn't government related because of how many citations this place has gotten. The place is dirty and the staff don't know what they're doing. It isn't likely it's a pedo den either, as it's painted loud green. Can't rule it out, I suppose. Reverse psychology, Monfrere. I have never once seen a child in that building. I have never once seen an adult in that building. 4chan may have realized my lurking suspicion a touch early, but that place definitely does some strange business. And this guy posts a link to a news article. I guess we'll see what's in this. So this one just says two arrested in an alleged kidnapping human trafficking case, suggesting it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that it happened that she was abducted from New York City and then transported to Utah. I guess that's just linking Salt Lake City to kidnappings in relation to theories. I guess all of these articles are trying to allude to the fact that there's a lot of kidnappings in Utah, which kidnappings happen everywhere, to be clear, but I don't know. Elizabeth Smart abducted in 2022 in Utah, and they have more kidnappings in Utah. That's just kind of something that'll happen everywhere, though. That's no relation to the building at all, though. Like, none of that relates to the building at all. If it's a smuggling ring, you're just doing work for the cops, you snitches. The sex trafficking thing, honestly, digging into it is just going to get young girls hurt. This is unlikely, though. If people aren't seen going in and out, most trafficking places have legitimate businesses in the front. A discussion on Above Top Secret, which I've never fucking heard of before, about this has just been shit canned completely out of nowhere as of 10 minutes ago. First read it, now there. Time to pour through all of the tons of shit different boards have found to see what the real reasoning for this is. Just the other day, this Daycare board was up. At the end, I guess Anons said that it was a secret woman and child shelter to hide from crazy spouses. But because 4chan wouldn't leave it well enough alone, they got discovered because of all the other site and Reddit posting about it. Yeah, it is really weird that this stuff keeps getting removed. If it's actually happening, if this is a front for something shady, look at the fucking name of the place. Fun Time Kidz Kare. That's kind of a bad name for a front. Should mention that we actually never even looked at the actual photo for the place, which this is it. It kind of just looks like a rundown, I don't know, Kidz Kare, to be honest. Why has no one ever walked up to the place and inquired about their services? There must be a lot of 400-pound neck basement shut-ins playing armchair detective. Someone pretended to try and enroll their kid there, got told you had to be on welfare or something, and someone went up to the building and took photos to the windows. We'll link to them, but the comment containing them on r/conspiracy got deleted. I think that would be a good cover for a pedo ring. Noisy kids from being abused. Those damn unruly kids making a fuss for those poor workers. People who send their kids to daycare usually go with one a family friend has used / sending their kids to the one their neighbors use, etc. If no one uses daycare, word of mouth would never go out to send your kid there. I don't know, man. Someone roll in that bitch and try to sign in an imaginary kid up, see what the deal is. On the other hand, we should be playing the devil's advocate. Maybe no one is seen taking kids there because they get up so early to drop them off. Is there a bus that might drop them off after? And then this guy, shit, dude, this guy goes nuts on that fucking bullet conspiracy and like breaks down the numbers. Yeah, it smells like bullshit, pretty much. Hey guys, I did some digging on the bead shipments and found that the company importing this stuff is a Fun Stuff Incorporated. Found their website posting this. I got some weird authorization stuff going on with it. I think it's probably dead. It just doesn't exist. Never mind. Also Google mapped their co-signee address and found this creepy place posting this. Oh man, this is like rundown business after rundown business, dude. No fucking security cameras or anything. We'll see if that place comes up on way back. 1 second. Got a few hits. Couple in 2015. We'll look at those since that's relevant. So this is what is pulled up, which is just kind of like a, I don't know, it's just kind of like a shitty website, especially for 2015. This is sketch as fuck for 2015. It doesn't look good at all. This is really strange. I don't know how much of it is documented, but it just looks like a trash website for just useless kid shit. Checked out their website. Looks really cheap. Like this is a front as well, posting this, which we already saw that. Like I said, yeah, it does look like a little shitty website. Like I said, especially for 2015, that's like something that would exist like in the late 90s. If it was a front, they wouldn't bother with a website. I know plenty of small businesses who don't even have a website or just basic Yahoo business listing. Maybe that's what they want you to think. And this is the importer's website, so maybe it's some sort of hub for all other businesses. As we continue our investigation, it seems like no matter where you post a topic, it gets taken down. Even here at Above Top Secret, which someone mentioned earlier in the thread that a thread there got taken down. I don't know, it seems like they were trying to cover it up hardcore, or I don't know, who knows. So there were some posts just saying a bunch of bullshit. We're not even going to talk about it. I was saying that daycare workers are usually Mexican ladies for whatever reason or another. This guy says this is true. Pic related, Mexican lady ushering 2 children into the premises. Talking about the daycare, posting this picture. I guess 2 kids entering the building. But you can only really see 1, to be honest, so I don't know where they got 2 kids. I guess from whoever took the photo. And there was a second picture posted, which is this one, showing 2 kids standing outside the building. I don't even know what this is in relation to. I mean, those kids are literally just hanging out. It doesn't even look like they're being coaxed to go, so it kind of seems like, I don't know, the theory's kind of falling apart, dude. And here's a picture posted of the building. It says, also it seems like that photo is from Better Days of the Business. Posting this, which still doesn't look all that great, to be honest. It doesn't look as rundown. I mean, it still doesn't look all that good. The paint's brighter, I guess. That's a really weird shape for a daycare as well, I might say. Just a big square. All that censorship on different sites over something so innocuous. All these people calling us names and trying to get us to shut up about it. Definitely something pretty high level. These idiots have no idea how telling their reactions are. And child trafficking is the likeliest? Ooh, here we got another theory. Before anyone asks, I'm not planning on participating in this any further than this post. A Daycare is one of the few SLC narcotic stash houses run by the Serenos with ties to the Mexican, I don't even know, Sinolones. The stash is moved around, but when it's at the daycare center, the children stock and bring the re-ups in their backpacks. That's all I know about the children. I believe that their use for the children is nothing beyond that and nothing sinister. I'm also led to believe that portions of money is being fed to the Wallace F. Bennett Federal Building, to Michael S. Lee in particular. At this time, I'm not ready to say if it has any further political influence or connections. However, it's being investigated. I would strongly advise that whoever has been photographing the building or trespassing onto the property to stop. The people who run it are dangerous criminals and you're risking your safety greatly. Now another one, drug trafficking. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but shit. I mean, I don't even know, man. That one seems a lot more likely than like the child abduction one, though. Just because the kids were seen willingly going in and out, or at least they look like they were willingly going in and out. This thread in particular ended on the 5th of February 2015 at 4 o'clock. Thread lasted for what I would believe to be 6 days, but that's the end of the first thread at least. I have done some more digging. I found actually several more threads related to this. So we're actually going to be digging into this a bit more because this thread didn't give too much information, but with the amount of threads that I've been able to find, I found one in particular that predated this one by 3 days. I think that one might have a lot more legitimate information than this one, but we'll be looking into that because this is fascinating. Like, I'll say the child one, the child trafficking or whatever, I've kind of thrown out, but the drug cartel one seems a lot more legitimate. So I'm kind of curious as what conclusions we came to on the other threads, but without further ado, we're going to go to the next thread. So this is the next thread, the thread that I mentioned that predates the previous thread that we had read, but this one was also posted on X Paranormal. There are quite a few threads posted on B that I was able to find. We may or may not read through those depending on how this one goes, but this one was posted on the 27th of January 2015 at around 9:50, bordering on 10 o'clock p.m. Thread number is 15728. Thread reads, scary shit is going down in Salt Lake City. Pictures related, we want you to join. Kind of disjointed just because of the way it all kicked off was on a subreddit and not actually on 4chan. Posting the picture that we've already seen of the building. Posting a second picture of just a bunny drawn on, I guess, a fence sign that's corroded now. This guy just posts SDJ. Yeah, what is SDJ? Did I miss something? Oh, there's SGJ. Is that what they're talking about? Like those little initials below the bunny? Yeah, what is SDJ? I swear I've seen this rabbit symbol in an old X thread before that had posted Colts and pedo symbols. Probably not. It's initials of D. Joel Solano, the owner of this place. The rabbit is from Alice in Wonderland. And he just posts, this guy posts a pic unsolicited of, I guess, the owner. So he's the owner of Funtime Childcare, currently delinquent as of 1/13/2015. I don't even know. Why is the guy sitting in the car with like an Uzi, dude? I think that's like probably one of the pre-ban ones as well. Fuck, dude. There could be two guys named Jose Solano in Salt Lake City, but I guess that wouldn't be likely. Yeah, dude, huge gun. It's a fucking Uzi. That's what I'm thinking, dude. Uzis aren't fucking huge, dude. Commandos laughing. I have no idea what the fuck this crazy looking guy has to do with anything, but okay. More digging revealed that some pizza guy and his buddy went by the place to deliver a pizza. The guy went to every door and waited at least 5 to 6 minutes each and eventually ended up just leaving the damn thing at the main door and then hung back. A couple minutes later, two children emerged in backpacks and his old ass Mexican lady let them back in. So this is just actually the picture of like the pizza guy just standing outside the door with the pizza and no one answering. I have no idea what the fuck this crazy looking guy has to do with anything. He owns the daycare. Okay, but that does not make me feel better at all. Browsing deeper into the private thread and seeing that guy as the supposed owner make me wonder if anything this is some sort of bizarre immigration fraud front. Shit like that happens in even Utah of all states. Used to live in Nevada for nearly 20 years. We'd hear about this kind of stuff all the time on the news back there. I lived right around the street from an immigration front type place and they are nowhere near this insanely protective. Normally they are just functioning businesses with a spare room in the basement where they house immigrants or such. This shit has to be more than just that from all the work going into covering it up. So since it's been linked several times in the thread, I way backed the actual original apparent rundown on conspiracy, and we're going to actually read over it just for clarification, because apparently this is where it all links up to. So we're just going to read through it just for the clarity to get the full picture. Two people have mentioned that I ought to clean up my summary from the other thread and submit it as a self-post, so here goes. I'll try to leave out my bias and refrain from judgment. I'll try to note which posters are new accounts and which have local flares. For over 2 years, I have been subscribed both here and in Salt Lake City, where this all begun, although I typically lurk more than I post in either place. When I wrote up my first summary, the thread still existed, but I didn't take the time to link everything. As the original thread has now been nuked, most of these comments can now only be seen on the screen cap that so-and-so saved. It can be seen here, linking to this. Apparently we have the original, actual, like, real shit thread. Please don't harass the owners or advocate harassment, as that will get this thread removed. So the first few hours, Disco Godfather, local flare, posted a thread to Salt Lake City asking, what's the deal with this place? Lived across the street from it 5 years ago. Never seen a kid there. These three individuals all recognize the place and have wondered about it or have thought of it as creepy. This person says, I've never seen anyone there. Username ID says, we live nearby and my kids call it the scary house. In the 10 years I've lived in this neighborhood, I've never seen anyone come in and out of that place. Totally creepy. G-Thing says, also live nearby, noticed some odd looking equipment in the back covered very securely by camo tarp the other day. It was not haphazardly secured either. I noticed specifically that it looked like a Boy Scout had done it or something. I thought it looked odd next to the sad looking playground equipment and was surprised because the place seemed shut down. The warning, Death Ship says, I'm going to advise you guys stop looking into this place. Throwaway new account digs through the posting history of Death Ship to find past posts. Death Ship has claimed to be linguist for the Air Force, been stationed at Area 51 and occasionally hangs out in conspiracy subs, questionably discharged. Death Ship responds that he speaks 8 languages, all of those. The former client, Lumpy Chick, new account, says that her kids attended from 2001 to 2006, 2007, and that it was a positive experience. A new owner bought the place in 2006, and they were horrible, neglectful, and borderline abusive. She also says these new owners were the ones who first paint the current color. Lumpy Chick follows up with a link to the public complaints against the center, shows normal complaints up until 2011, nothing since. FEUP finds another site with 2 newer incidents, one in 2013 and one in 2014. The Upkeep, G-Thing, Local Flare links to Street View and notes the swamp cooler was running. Images dated July 2014. Also note that the paint is faded and graffiti has been painted over. If you compare the image that started this whole thing, the paint was new and fresh. This would indicate that the building is being maintained. Also that the banner with the phone number was removed at some point and put back up after the paint job. The website, Less Than Dan finds their website. For a while it was Reddit hugged, but it's currently up. Cross through, I guess it's gone. Website has been replaced with empty page. We will save the link and look at it later. So-and-so and so-and-so link to similar websites for another daycare in Virginia. We'll look at that too. I'm guessing that's dead. Or actually no, it looks like they archived both. Yeah, they archived them. Never mind. We'll look at them in the archive then. Jortron posts his original comment I mentioned above. This gets deep. URL is owned by a city employee. Why does the city's multimedia manager own the URL? The county assessor's office says it's owned by Chunga International LLC. They have failed to renew their business license since 08/26/2014. The registering agent has the same last name as the SLC employee. Funtime Kidz Kare has been registered since 05/24/2006. What's with the fresh paint? Arnix has a great post in this thread with a lot of research on the website and continues to update the post, so rather than try to list everything, I suggest you check his post below. We'll do that as well, I guess. A letter carrier. Paul Dwayne says, I used to be a letter carrier in that neighborhood. It was full of kids every time I went there. The only strange thing is, no matter what time of day I showed up with the mail, it always seemed to be nap time. The break-in, user requested his name to be removed, says, I just talked to my friend who lived right there for about a year and said one night they jimmied their way in out of curiosity, and the main room was mostly just a chair facing a TV displaying a live video of the other room in the building. He also adds that the laundromat across the street constantly has cops there for drug busts. In the PM to me, he said, I stand by that comment but would rather not be attached to it if that makes sense. Stop Gossip, new account now deleted, claims to know the owners and defends the place vigorously. Most if not all the posts with the username deleted in the screenshot are of this from this person. Stop Gossip digs through OP's posting and leaves with the I have been in your house and we played with your action figures. Remember when I put them down your asshole. Stop Gossip is also the user who requested removal on the original thread. The phone calls. Multiple Redditors call the phone number and get little response. When they do get a live person, the phone is answered with with hello rather than a business name. OP, Disco Godfather, local flair, gets a phone call through, and the person says that you can only get your kids there through workforce services. The one board new account claims to have a video of children inside place. Later says he has trouble getting them off his phone. Finally returns and says, according to police, it is now closed. The spread, just posting a couple links to other Reddit threads discussing it. The cleanup. The original thread is deleted from Salt Lake City. Mod Blues deleted thread because a throwaway account said that the owners were being harassed. Conspiracy thread deleted after a throwaway complained that the owners were being harassed. Thread reinstated after a few hours. Best of thread deleted. What FFK new account now deleted post a variety of messages. In the original thread disparaging anyone discussing the place. The additional warnings. Frederick Kieran messaged me telling me to stop. OP Disco Godfather has received multiple messages telling him to stop, including a possible death threat. The visits, this screen grab of a post was PM'd to me. He said he popped up in the other thread here in Conspiracy, but was quickly removed. Posting this. Luke stopped by and got pics of an old lady cleaning up. Attachment 21 was stopped at the light and got pics of a man standing outside, possibly with a badge and radio. Info from the masses. This section contains info I have received in PMs. I figure if the person wanted their name attached, they could have posted it in the comments below. This info will not be attached to a username. Take that for what it's worth. The name from Who Is before it was scrubbed is attached to a variety of local interests. These may or may not be the same person. Concealed carry, permit instructor, ham radio operator, real estate agent, webmaster for a site to re-elect a local politician. I have links for all. I feel posting his name brings us too close to a witch hunt. The same name is attached to a 36-year-old was arrested by ICE in Utah County. Person in question with this child care place appears to reside in Provo and was convicted on a charge of distribution of meth. 60 months in custody, then back to ICE for deportation. The criminal charges I found on Pacer, but the arrest is easily Googled. And that is the entirety of this readout of the thread. We'll check, I guess, some of the links that were linked to see what we can find. So here's some of the pictures. I'm kind of interested as to why it's on way back. But I digress. That's the picture we saw earlier, this one right here. And then there's a couple of outside shots. This one would be the most interesting, except it doesn't appear that I can open it. Yeah, it doesn't appear. It appears in that picture you can actually like see a person in there. You see an actual like lady in the building, but apparently that's like the only occupant maybe. You also have a few more pictures. Here's the pictures of they were saying of the guy standing outside. They say possibly with the badge and a radio. I guess that's the possible badge. I don't even see a radio though. I think that's kind of a stretch. I guess here's a screen cap of a comment. I took my child and they let us in. They have a handicapped little boy and that's all. They say that because I have a case with WFS, I can register my child, but I have to sign a contract and I can't disclose anything about who the handicapped child is. So here's the one website that they were linking to. This is the Miller Heights Co-op that they somehow said was linked somehow, but I'm not sure what the link is. And this is the Fun Time Kidz Kare. They said it was linked and at one point the site just went to a blank. I don't know if there's actually an existent website of before it went blank. That's what they're talking about. So the format of that other website was pretty much exactly the same as this one, which I would agree with. They're pretty much one-to-one. And it says at Funtime Kidz Kare, we believe that every child counts. We understand that every child is different and our staff has been trained to use custom activities so children will learn and grow at their own pace. I kind of wish I kept up the other thread, but we'll go back to it in a second. Our curriculum is to focus on the development of strong academic, social, emotional, and physical foundation. We have over 30 years of experience. Our best supporters are our own alumni who bring their children to our center, now in the role of parents. Our building stands as a witness to our commitment to children as a result of listening and responding to them. Now it is a recognizable icon in Salt Lake City. And this website for 2014 is very outdated, I might say. Hours, I guess, daily are 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So the texts are different between these two websites and some formatting is different, but they're pretty much like one-to-one exactly the same for the overlay. This is a link to a comment that apparently did a lot of digging into the website and domain registration records. The most interesting ones I would say is the ones that say seems Eva Solano registered Funtime Kidz Kare Inc. on 2/5/15/2005. It was not renewed and expired on 05/24/2006. Looks as if she was not feeling the corporation wanted to keep it up, keep the DBA instead. said. Interesting that she puts different addresses this time, and then it links the guy that everyone's talking about, Jose Solano, registered the company as Funtime Childcare LLC on 12/28/2012. It was last renewed on 1/2/2014 and is currently delinquent as of 1/13/2015. We read this earlier, but interestingly enough, these guys had the last two last names. Something I had skipped over as well, and now I find interesting looking back onto it, is the child care citation on Utah's right to know. We have Funtime Kidz Kare. More interesting about these, they got a lot of them, like a lot of, but most interestingly is the fact that they have 5 complaints in total, which is what we're going to be mainly looking at. So we're going to start with earliest complaints, work our way back to the oldest complaints, or the newest complaints I should say. This one breaks the rule of supervision, it looks like, and it says finding observation of the facility reveals a group of 12 children ages 12 to school age unsupervised for approximately 2 minutes, and another room of 4 infants toddlers unsupervised for approximately 4 minutes. The caregivers are up front working with a parent near the sign-in out book. So this one says the licensee must maintain minimum caregiver to a child ratio as provided in tables. Observation of the facility along with interview of the teacher on site by licensing staff reveals that there are 12 school-age children in the main room alone without a teacher and 5 2-year-olds in another room without a teacher. The only teacher in the facility was in the kitchen when licensing staff arrived. This one says discipline measures shall not include any of the following: restraining a child's movement by binding, tying, any other form of restraint that exceeds specified in subsections 3 above. Upon licensing arrival, Marging was observed yelling at a boy on the swing set. A representative from DDI, Charlene, entered the facility 20 minutes later. Charlene informed licensing that Marging was outside yelling at the children. Once Marging brought the children inside the center, she continued yelling at the children to sit on the rug. This item must be corrected by September 5th, 2007. So this one says infants and toddlers may be included in mixed age groups only when 8 or few children are present at the center. There are 14 children at the center, and then that's just a basic complaint. The yelling one's more concerning. And this one just pretty much says children are unattended at certain points. So there are some really negligible things going on, mainly with Margine. It seems like, come on Margine, fucking come on, dude. You're the one fucking up all the time. It seems like you're yelling at children and shit. Like, goddamn, dude. So this post seems to have a few more citations. We already read the top one. 3 school-aged children are in the back classroom. 5 children are in a front classroom. 1 child is sitting on a chair in the hall. 1 caregiver, Ava, is going back and forth between the classrooms to check on the children. Ava was in the hallway when licensing arrived. There was a gate up between the classroom and the hallway. Ava said the gate was up because she didn't want the children all together. During the time licensing was at the center, the children were left unattended several times. 9 children were left alone for about 6 minutes. The children are allowed to go back and forth between classrooms and outside. Margine left the children unattended several times while licensing was at the center. Margine was going to the kitchen to get children popsicles. These people have no fucking clue how to run a daycare. The last one is really special. Documentation of orientation training cannot be located for Jose Solano. This rule was previously found to be out of compliance on 03/08/07, 04/30/07, and 02/08/08. This rule must be in compliance by April 20th, 2008. If this rule is not in compliance by April 20th, 2008, an additional civil penalty of $50 will be assessed. Not even the owner was oriented or trained. The fuck. Interesting that I guess he was involved in it and then it was sold off or he took ownership. I'm not sure though. Those links are kind of fuzzy right now. I don't live that far away and I have a 7-year-old. On Saturday I will go there and see what I can learn. Tune in Saturday night and I will post my findings. Here's an interesting bunch of info. This place has been possibly owned by the same people under various aliases for nearly 30 plus years. Apparently they gained business licenses for it to let them expire for a while and then reapply away after under either totally different names or, interesting enough, with the same names but register the business in a completely different zip code. What the fuck? I mean, forgetting the fact that it seems nearly impossible to get away with something like that shady. Why? Search up any permutation of their business in this and you'll turn up some weird shit. Here's another interesting factoid I dug up on the place. I searched up the owner's name, Jose Solano, in the Utah Register for Child Care Services and looked on the healthcare department review of this place. They've been previously cited for not submitting immunization reports in the past, and that may not sound like much to some people, but kids do carry illnesses a lot, and it's goddamn important that places like these keep on making sure that they take in kids that have been immunized and keep that stuff on record. Plus 10 shading this man. All in all, I don't really know what to make of this, but I know that I don't like it. The daycare has already been called multiple times. The only answer said that they needed to go through the state because it's a low income daycare. When that OP contacts state state services for the daycare. The representative on the line had no idea about the place and said that wasn't how it worked. So it's not just a shady daycare if they are that exclusive and secretive about enrolling new kids. They're lying about their business practice. Different people they call, but each time they got completely different runaround. Sort of a personal knot, but I'm a dad and I've had to drop my daughter off at daycare place only a couple of times in the past. However, no place I look into ever gave me a runaround like that. It's not even legal too. Low income or not, they must let a potential client inspect the place themselves after providing ID and such, obviously, as they will be leaving the child in the care of these people. Because they didn't do that and lied about how the process worked, that set off major red flags to people. As I said, I've been through this daycare process myself before, and this whole thing reeks of bad stuff to me. Hell, the fact social services didn't even know about the place is just creepy. These places must declare themselves and be properly registered, which leads into another freaky rabbit hole altogether. Even though social services apparently hadn't heard of the place, they'd been giving a citation for them anyway for not keeping immunization records in the past and for not upkeeping their grounds. That is weird. Weird that they weren't heard of by social services even though they'd been visited by them in the past. So you're saying they're not a daycare. I don't think that they 100% are. I think this might be some sort of immigration front because of the shady people that run this, or worse. Unfortunately, over the years, there have been many daycares shut down because of fucked up pedo shit. Sadly, that is part of the sick world we live in. So they posted several pictures of the outside of the place at night, it appears. So you got this one with just the pictures of the pictures, a cornerstone, which this picture makes it look especially shady, and then this one from across the street, which is the blurry pic, which is kind of bad, but I digress. And I guess we got another one here. Yeah, just a children's picture. Every single window in this entire building is jammed up with something, be it blinds, a shit, or just random papers and shit. I only grabbed one more after this, posting this picture. I'm guessing he took all those pictures from the outside at night. Last one I got, also should mention this, but on local police scanners there, a little girl has been reported missing. I think shit really just did get real. What the fuck, posting this picture of the back. I don't know, this place is fucking creepy at night, I won't lie. Pretty sure it's a meth lab at this point. Nothing creepy, just a shithole in which meth is made, or a money laundering operation. Both legitimate, I suppose, if you're gonna make a conspiracy about this. Or a location where drugs are mail order in from China. They like having business addresses because those clear customs easier. So this is live correspondence posting a picture from across the building, I'm guessing, with some dude sitting on the car. This says, I was just there for a half hour, saw nothing, posting this, showing the building in the background. So this was mentioned in the previous thread, but I actually am getting closer to something, as are many other people. Recently, this place took in an order from a Chinese distributor of nearly 2,000 pounds worth of plastic jewelry. We checked the shipping manifest for any discrepancies, because why the fuck would a daycare ever need that much? We found out that the same container and the same shipment for this were shipping the same order of plastic jewelry to many other places, all with fun in the title. Funland, fun times, fundamental, that sort of thing. Now this happens, linking to this. I guess that's to remove all the thread, which is what it says. People have been getting shadow banned for even so much as discussing this. It's been treated as a raid when the sole intention could not have been further from that. Remember, it was originally posted in Salt Lake City for locals and then went on from there. So this thread ends on the 30th of January 2015 at 3:45 p.m. Thread lasts for about 3 days, maybe 2 3/4 or something nonsensical like that. But that was the second thread. Not sure if I'll read it over anymore, but we're actually going to browse over the conspiracy thread that was built on Reddit and see if there's actually anything legitimate there. So I just came back from the place and found something in the back covered by a camo tarp. I then saw a Mexican man come out, pick something up, and go back inside. Earlier in the day, I went there and saw a pizza guy try to deliver pizza to the place. They're probably being trolled. He knocked and no one came to the door. He left, and I was about to as well until I noticed kids walking up to the door and trying to get in. Finally, an old Mexican lady opened the door and let them in. 5 years of living here, never saw a single person go in or out. Then in one day, I see 4 people. Weird. It's amazing how I'm scrolling through this and somehow Reddit was more off the chain than 4chan was, which usually the Reddit's like, oh, all the level-headed motherfuckers, but no, this is like, everyone in this thread is like posting insane shit. Not a lot to mention, to be honest. We may check out the original as well, since we have it linked, but we'll see if anything is actually good on this one. This is the actual original thread that started this all on Salt Lake City. So not a lot said in this thread besides like just speculation, but interesting nonetheless, us, I guess, how this all kicked off on a city subreddit of all things, but that's interesting. But that's Threads episode 33, looking into Fun Times Daycare was what it was called, I think. I forget now. Fun Time Kidz Kare was what it was called. This is honestly a really fucking interesting little thing that we went on. This shit was cool as hell, I won't lie. I started off a bit skeptical, but honestly, I just kind of got lost in it with all the interesting tidbits and everything just coming out. These were some interesting as hell threads and like posts on Reddit and everything. This is interesting. No conclusion. I don't know if there ever was a conclusion. There's like 500 threads on B about it. I don't know if I really want to go digging through all of them to get the conclusion. It's out there somewhere. Whether I'll do a follow-up thread or not, I don't know. I kind of doubt it because I kind of like to cap it off right here with kind of the mystery kind of still intact. I imagine this place was probably pretty innocuous and the result was just that it was just some rundown ghetto fucking daycare, but all the conspiracy was very interesting around it. It was kind of like the Stony Creek Foods, I believe it was, with the weird seeds and shit and the website and the buildings. There's some like real mystery to this place with all the background to it, and it's really just, I don't know, this investigation was fun as hell. I really enjoyed this thread. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll see you. Stay chill.